Sean Payton just gave Russell Wilson a slap in the face. A recent article was released by Seth Wickersham of ESPN that was a big, long, detailed piece on the ins and outs of what Sean Payton is doing to build this Denver Broncos organization back up from the ground. It talks about Sean's plan to help get Russell Wilson back on track. It even goes into Sean, his decision to leave New Orleans and his decision to take the Denver Broncos coaching job. It is a very revealing article, so I highly encourage you guys to go on to ESPN Plus. Unfortunately, it is behind a paywall, but I really feel like it is worth forking out the $10 to go read this article because there is a lot of gold nuggets in there. And one of them, the media is running away with this particular quote from Sean Payton pretty heavily. I'm pretty sure you've probably seen it by now. The Broncos invited a shock to the system when they hired Payton. There's palpable tension in the building. Payton doesn't care if he comes off like an asshole or if he is an asshole. Training camp practices have been long and physical. Every player has worn a Guardian cap. Denver media, which is New York-like in its volume, more than 50 reporters logged in for Payton's pre-draft Zoom, have seen access curtailed. Staffers seem cautious around Payton, not wanting to say something that prompts an outburst. Payton is the program. Everything flowing out of his fierce ingenuity and ethic. He showed the team a video of a 2022 Ford Bronco driving off a cliff, letting players know last year is over. He told Russell Wilson that to salvage his career, he needed to focus less on Russell Incorporated, which I assume Payton meant by that Russ's Team 3 brand. Will you stop effing kissing all the babies, he said. You're not running for public office. I really don't have an issue at all with what Payton said here. He just was being brutally honest. If Russell Wilson wants to be successful in his football career, then he needs to focus on his football career. He can't be focusing on building his brand. He needs to focus on building his brand on the football field, then he can focus on doing so off the football field. Now, a lot of national media members have really run away with this quote, one of them being Ryan Clark, and I don't necessarily have an issue with what Ryan said either. Ryan says, bruh, this Sean Payton and Russell Wilson news is crazy. Dude is going all the way opposite of how anyone has treated Russ or even thought of him. If it works, he's a genius, and if it doesn't, well, never mind. It almost seems like he hopes it doesn't. Well, I mean, that's true. Of course, Sean hopes that that's not the case and that things do work. But at the same time, I honestly feel like Russell Wilson invited this kind of hard coaching. With Russell Wilson, although he does come across as a guy that tries to please everyone, I still feel like Russell Wilson is a guy who can take hard coaching and probably wants that level of coaching. And this tweet over here from Tim Wentz is something that I really agree with. I think Sean wants it to work. He's rekindling the fire that Russ had when he won the job as a third-round rookie. He needed to get a metaphorical slap in the face. He got one. Yes, he did. And that's exactly what I feel like Sean Payton is trying to do here. He's trying to rekindle that fire to Russell Wilson, and at the same time, he's tried to at least deflect a lot of the blame from Russell Wilson by going out there and basically putting Nathaniel Hackett and the previous coaching staff on blast. What Sean was doing there, at least in my opinion, was he was trying to deflect all the blame away from Russell Wilson, as well as the rest of the team, and put it on himself and his own reputation if this fails. Now, of course, with the way that everything works and the way that we judge things, we all know that's not going to be the case. If Russell Wilson ends up failing here in Denver this next year, Sean Payton will still be the head coach of the Denver Broncos, and ultimately Russell Wilson will be looking for another job. I really don't have an issue at all with Sean Payton just stating the facts here, and last year, people like Nathaniel Hackett were afraid to tell Russell Wilson what he needed to hear, not what he wanted to hear. And one thing with Russell Wilson, for the last year, he's really, I feel like, been lacking that sort of mentor in life that tells him what he needs to hear as opposed to what he wants to hear. Russ said it himself. Trevor Moawad was that mentor for him, and unfortunately, right before the 2021 season, Russ's last year in Seattle, Moawad passed away. Now I'm hoping that maybe Sean Payton can fill that role and give Russell Wilson a proverbial slap in the face whenever he needs one. And just like Tim Wentz says here, he needed one here and he got it. Whether Russell Wilson responds to it, that is on Russell Wilson. But I have no issue with what Sean Payton did here. And quite frankly, I don't anticipate Russell Wilson or anybody else having an issue with it either. He's sending a message to Russell Wilson at the end of the day that he has to perform, but he's also sent a message to Russell Wilson that he believes in him and that he's got his back all the way. So I'm curious, Broncos country, how do you feel about this quote from Sean Payton, and do you feel like it's being overblown? Drop those comments down below, guys. I would love to hear your thoughts on this, as always. Be sure to leave a like on this video, as well as subscribe and ring the bell so these videos appear in your notification feed. I would really appreciate it, guys. Those are 2 free and easy ways to show your support, helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out, and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country, just like you and me. And until next time, guys, this has been another episode of Denver Broncos Syndicate. I'm your host, Gage Madrid, saying peace out.